I know this member left me a TLDR post to respond to. Now, don't do this again. I've already told you before. I'm not going to respond if I see it. Give me the TLDR. However, I saw something in 3 paragraphs that I thought was interesting. I'm going to give you guys a short and sweet. We're not going to stay here forever. You said we should do some math on 70% revenue and 30% revenue for these storefronts. Now, I have to be very, very careful how I do this video. I think that you are more of a PlayStation aficionado than you let on at the onset of our conversations. I judge that because you look at Xbox's business from such a one-dimensional side, and maybe that's because, you may be into the consoles, and I've also seen Xbox, fans as well make a very similar error. They look at Xbox's business from a one-dimensional perspective. And so when they actually try to evaluate Xbox, they miss the mark almost entirely. You said this. Let's do some basic math. 70% revenue per game for a developer will add up to greater profits than 30% revenue if the storefront, if the game sells well. For example, suppose a game that has $10 million development budget that is listed for $10 sells 30 million copies. The developer makes approximately $200 million in profit, and the storefront makes $90 million. If the game flops and sells $2 million, then the developer makes $4 million profit, but the storefront actually makes a bigger profit at $6 million. I'm not suggesting that flops are the norm, but I'm saying that having a ubiquitous storefront is low risk and lucrative regardless of how the market shakes out. You then said there's a necessity for storefronts, which is I agree with. And then you said similarly, the PlayStation brand has more recognition, 3x, than Xbox. Of course, even though Xbox has more output of games, PlayStation platform and brand, which you say is currently the best, has more leverage. And you said because of this storefront, PlayStation can just simply not put out as many exclusives and make that 30%, while Xbox, their next console is going to, according to you, inevitably sell less than the Series X and S. So what you're saying is the Xbox console is dead, thereby PlayStation is fine. However, your own math betrays you. Sorry, you're probably going to have to feel the sting on this one. Let me show you something. You said if they do 70%, they're fine, right? You said if the game flops, they only make less on that platform. What you fail to realize is all of Xbox games are also on another platform, whereby even though PlayStation, let's just say an Xbox game flops, okay? Let's say like Indiana Jones. Let's say it flopped on Steam. Let's say it sold only 2 million copies on Steam, and Valve made more, money on Indiana Jones than Xbox themselves. Well, guess what? There's about to be a PlayStation version as well to do the exact same thing again, thereby creating a failsafe that the game does not fail in sales. Because the 70% that you're looking at on Valve, Xbox, Indiana Jones didn't sell, big on Valve, didn't sell well on Valve. Oh my gosh, it sold poorly on Steam. Look at the user reviews. Well, when it goes to PlayStation, it's going to break past that barrier because PlayStation fans are going to buy it to a 70% revenue for Xbox. That's not even including those who bought the game traditionally on Xbox, who have made Xbox 100% revenue as well. This is how Xbox plans to destroy PlayStation. Or to be successful, they're not even concerned about PlayStation, to be honest. When PlayStation said this in their, and I see some of you trying to deny this leak from Insomniac. You can try to deny it all you want. Everybody knows that you're basically dancing around reality. And even if you deny it, we still know this as common knowledge. But PlayStation understands it critically. They said Microsoft can supply multi-game subscription 50%, console games 50%, PC 60%. Now, these percentages, they're basically rough sketches because it doesn't even include the cloud possibility when things come into perspective. So you're here worried about the 70% and 30% from one platform, and it has blinded you from seeing the 70% and 30% from other platforms. So, okay, let's say Indiana Jones, let's just use Indiana Jones as the example. Let's say it sells and doesn't make profit, and it only made $2 million, right? It only made $2 million on Steam. Let's say it made only $2 million on all platforms. It's still going to make more money than the $4 million that PlayStation alone is going to benefit from. Because if it did that, it's pretty much doing that. Even if it made $0, or even if nobody bought it on Xbox, if everybody on Xbox played it on Game Pass, and it flopped on both PlayStation and Steam, it still makes $4 million, which is still good money and profit for them. Are you not seeing that your own math has basically shown you exactly why Xbox has decided that we're not going to stay relegated to the platform? Also, why it's shown you that PlayStation themselves are not interested in doing that, because they realize that there's an opportunity here. You said in the rest of your comments, it was very interesting, you said this. You said, if the game output was all that mattered, Valve would be in a terrible position, but they have the most recognizable storefront to purchase PC games from and are in an incredible position with limited risk compared to third-party developers. You are partially correct. However, Epic Games, who has one game, is significantly profitable, and you sleep on Valve's other profitable games as well that currently gross the highest every single year on its own platform. You don't know Valve's business model. It's obvious. Again, like I said, you try to look at Xbox's business from a one-dimensional perspective, you'll be lost. This is why I argue with PlayStation fans all the time. They can't see past the console war, the console in front of them. They're constantly looking at the exact same thing. And we're trying to tell them, broaden your horizons and see how Xbox has basically stayed quite comfortable. You want box fight is what you want. My console is doing this and your console ain't doing that. And many of you have thought for the longest time that Valve does. Some people still think they don't know Valve. They don't even know Valve has supported basically the same games for years. And these games have made the top grossing games every single year. This is the Steam Best of 2024 with Helldivers 2 in it. I'll go back to 2023 for you. You're going to also see Counter-Strike. You're also going to see Dota 2. I'll go back to the previous year as well. I'll go to 2022. You're also going to see them. They're going to be in there. Counter-Strike, Dota 2. They are farming dough and also getting the third-party dough as well, which is fine for them. What is PlayStation making that is grossing as much as Dota and Counter-Strike 2? Nothing. Like nothing. Nothing. Annually. That's why PlayStation is trying to crank out another 8 to 9 more live service games. Xbox didn't have this, so what did Xbox do? They leaped over everybody, according to PlayStation, in their leak documents. They leapfrogged over everybody and decided we're going to spend money to be in the top category of earners. So when they acquired Activision Blizzard, if we go to 2023, this is 22, this is 24, 23, they basically bought their way into the top. And this is the biggest selling game on the PlayStation platform, on the Xbox platform, and one of the biggest on Steam. That's not even including Battle.net. The amount of stupid money that these guys are going to be raking in should their business and their other Bethesda games start to fire annually is going to be so insane. If you think that you need to come and start paying $80 for all these PlayStation games and all these Xbox games owned to PlayStation, that's fine. But some of the savviest gamers are gonna look and say, "Man, I'll get it on Game Pass, $10." You see, a lot of people have not necessarily thought about how okay, a lot of us have grown, right? I see a lot of people bragging on the internet. I buy the games that I want to play. Great, good for you, man. But has anybody ever thought about the possibility of actually basically getting a subscription, on the front end, and then buying the game on sale on the back end and getting the game for less money while still getting the benefit of both of what you want? Have we all become non-strategic again with our gaming? Right? When we were, younger, we would do stuff. If Game Pass was a thing, we would abuse the heck out of it. We'd be like, this game is coming out on this month. This game is coming out on this month. Both games cost me $160, or back in the day, $120. I can play both games for $10 and then wait for holiday sale. Instead of paying $120, I could get them for $35 a pop when they basically come down. Or I wait till they get on sale for $15 and I buy it. My save file is the same on Xbox. People have lost their sense of thinking through these things. I mean, that's a whole different video. So again, you've come to this whole conversation with an anti-Xbox slant, talking about platforms, not realizing that the bigger the platforms, the bigger the opportunity for Xbox to be able to sell and make more money on all fronts. They stay fine. And they support their box because their box is actually the most valuable in this equation because it's the most profitable box. The Xbox itself will either sell those units of that game for 100% revenue, not profits, 100% revenue, while the Game Pass subscription will also then add and bring in more revenue as well. See, here's the truth. The console war was raging. Xbox found out that in physical boxes, it could not compete anymore. It had botched a huge opportunity. What did Xbox do? They pivoted. They decided, we're going to forget about this. We're going to go a different route. We're going to change the market. We're going to go insane. Amazon offering free shipping. Do you know what that did to the industry? Everybody else basically freaked out. That's what Xbox is doing. They've disrupted the entire industry. They've disrupted the entire industry. You can write 3 books all you want. The industry is in a very interesting place right now. Everybody publishes their games thinking, why does Game Pass exist? That's a disruption. You just proved that Xbox is fine. You did. All right. That's it for me. Thanks for watching. Peace out.